If we, this is an assumption now, it's coming from trying to make a meaning out of something. If I assume that whatever reality or truth is has some kind of unity to it, and that you're living in it, and it's in a sense trying to be expressed through you, and it takes on all the unique characteristics of Frank, and another one takes on the characteristics of Kim, and another one of Andy, and so on. I believe that if to the degree you're out of the way, in other words, that your programming, conditioning, attachments are out of the way, that what flows through you will end up being mutually supportive. I think to the degree that we represent friction to that process and are diverting it into a narrowness of our belief system, to our own way of doing things, you'll start to see it then become fragmented. And as one fellow said, once upon a time, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So if the human species gets too much friction going and too much division and fragmentation, then the overall expenditure of energy is just being dissipated all over the place in this random friction, and it becomes chaotic. And usually when human beings get chaotic, there's a lot of violence probably going to be associated with it before very long. And so kumbaya usually means, well, that means everybody loves one another. So suppose you ask somebody, and what is your major objection to everybody getting along? Sooner or later they'll have to tell you is that it gets in the way of their getting more of something that they think they want. And to do it at your expense is quite legitimate. So worrying about mutual support is not what I would worry about. I want to that's where what's in it for me takes precedent over anybody else or anything else, or me and my clan, or me and my tribe, or me and my nation. And then that's when you'll see people divide. As I understand it, the forces of good tend to move towards integrating and connecting, and the forces of evil kind of are those things that alienate, fragment, isolate, separate, and take it apart, which if you push it far enough is the second law of thermodynamics. It's moving everything of order toward chaos. The other movement is a kind of movement towards what brings everything together. I'm not arguing that chaos is bad, and I'm not arguing that the other is always good. All I'm saying is those worlds are there, and the question is, how do you live your life in such a way that you're optimizing, again, the other lives that are out there and not just your own? Because over time, if you undercut others, I believe it will ultimately undercut you. That we're really in this game together. And that while it may not be obvious at first, in the short term, if you play it on the scenario out far enough, you discover that there's a lose-lose proposition. I'm not convinced there's a win-lose. There may be only win-win or lose-lose. It depends on how the scale is played out.